Visiting beautiful Parke County? Stop by the Vintage Beehive at their new location, 115 East High Street, Rockville, Indiana. We have antiques, vintage items, homemade, handmade, and handcrafted.
Welcome everyone to our monthly meeting of Rosedale Town Board. Please join with me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. Once I get up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Got your,
We have to do our budget hearing first.
oh, that's right, budget hearing, I'm sorry.
It's your budget adoption.
Adoption hearing.
Yes.
This is the adoption meeting for the budget for next year. Does anybody have any changes they want to make on what you presented previously?
No, I'm good.
Hearing nothing. I'm not reading this.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, read that.
Okay. Be it ordained received by the town of Rosedale that for the expenses of Rosedale Civil Town for the year ending December 31st, 2022, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered set forth out of the several funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Such sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided for by tax levies or by law. In addition, for the purpose of raising revenue to meet the necessary expenses for the Rosedale Civil Town, the property tax levies and property tax rates are herein specified, are here included herein. Budget Form 4B for all funds must be completed and submitted in the manner prescribed by the Department of Local Government Finance. This ordinance resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the town of Rosedale. Do you want me to read the amounts?
Yeah, you better.
Okay. The rainy day fund budget will be $5,000. The general fund budget will be $153,280. Local road and street budget will be $12,000. Motor vehicle highway will be $33,500. Coombe Fire Special Fund will be $6,400. Cumulative capital improvement will be $8,000, and cumulative capital development will be $5,500, for a total adopted budget of $223,680.
Can you give me that total again?
What'd you say?
Can I have the total again?
$223,680.
Chair will accept the motion to approve the budget as presented. Budget ordinance as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I think that must have been Carol.
That's Carol. Mm-hmm.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the ordinance for budget. Is there a question? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Make sure when you guys sign this, you mark what you voted, because I have to scan that in and send it tonight.
It has to be in tonight?
Oh my gosh, this lady's driving me crazy. I think my regular budget rep must not be there anymore. Someone else is messaging me. Our hearing kind of falls at the end of the cycle. They like to be done around this time for 1782s and everything start coming out. So
I have to apologize. I had cataract surgery last week, and I'm not healed up yet all the way. So I can see all you out there real good, but anything close, not working too good. So that's why. And my old glasses, they don't work like they should either. So I'm having a little trouble with close up. That's why I didn't want to read that.
Oh, you just didn't want to say herein a whole bunch.
I've done it every other time.
I'm just teasing.
Strange thing about it is, Mike King does those things when you call the Union Hospital to whatever you get an appointment or whatever you call for, as long as it's not 911, because they say
Right.
call 911. It takes forever, so he gets listed all those. And I never paid much attention, but he said nearly 100% of all people over 65 get cataracts. So there you go. You got something to look forward to, folks.
You know it's good for that, right?
What's good for it? Not that I know of, no.
Talk after the meeting.
Okay. Okay, now can I do the, do I need to do the public hearing budget minutes?
I
now?
guess we need to close this hearing first.
Oh yeah, that closes the public meeting on adoption of the budget.
7:05.
Okay.
Yep, now you can go.
Now I can do the opening of the other meeting. We'll now have the regular town board meeting. And now you can review those minutes, and we'll act on the public hearing on the budget and then the regular meeting.
You can get one of those nice prints that Christy Darrell gave us.
I took mine home.
Oh, did you? Oh, I gave one. Oh, did she give you one?
No, you
No,
gave
I
me
gave
one.
you one. That's right. I don't even know what it is.
Everybody had a chance to review those minutes? The rumbleing's going on down
Yeah,
there.
they're discussing
They're
something.
just chatting it up.
Yeah. I make a motion that we accept the minutes from the meeting September 14th. The only thing I see is one spelling error, but
The public hearing budget meeting?
For the regular meeting.
the regular meeting, I thought that's what
Well, I asked for the other one first,
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, well, I didn't hear that.
because we had it first.
Oh, okay. All right, somebody else can do that.
Okay, I make a motion, we accept the minutes from the public hearing.
I'll second.
Becky, that was
Becky
you
made
made a
that
motion?
one.
Okay.
Yes.
That was good.
Yes, I move.
Is there a second?
I did.
Been moved and second to approve the minutes from the public hearing on the budget of September 14th, 2021. Question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Now I make.
All right, Carol, you're on deck now.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the regular meeting minutes from the September 14th, 2021 meeting.
I second.
Okay, Cody, way to get in there.
Way to go.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes as presented with one spelling error, I guess.
What did I spell wrong?
Business, new business.
Oh, I was typing fast.
Business.
I did. How come spell check didn't correct that?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. I can accept that. You can't see it, John. Don't look at it. Because he probably would have pointed it out.
It's moved seconded to approve. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, go around the room for public comments. Nikki, Cindy, you have a presentation to make, or?
Not really a big presentation, just something to share.
She
I
had some
promise
things
it's
to
quick.
share and let you know
Okay.
today.
Well, why don't you go ahead and do that, and then
Sure.
we'll excuse you.
All right. So for those that haven't met me, I'm Cindy Todd, and I work for Partnership Parke County, and we're an economic development office in Parke County. We do various initiatives for the betterment of the county, as well as provide grant administration services for various projects. But I'm here this evening just to share a couple initiatives that we're working from my office. So the first of those being a housing needs assessment. So we have brought in Purdue's community development group, and they're going to be doing a housing needs assessment across the county. So it will incorporate all of our towns as well as the county portions. As a part of that, I'm coming around just letting the towns know that we're doing that, number one. And secondly is that there will be an opportunity for input. So there will be a countywide survey made available to all residents. And in addition, then we're going to do some focus groups that are just more targeted audiences, like 10 to 15 people. We're going to do 3 of those across the county. So we'd like to do one in the southern end. I'm thinking in the Rosedale area, one in the north, and one in the central. So if that is something that you support in the county, and if I could ask for your assistance when we get ready to host the one in the southern part, if you would mind helping host that and perhaps identify individuals to participate in that discussion. And we're looking for those that really have an influence or something to do with housing. So if it's realtors, if it's leadership roles in your community, various people really engaged in that kind of activity. So it's not happening yet. That won't be until probably like December, January time frame, but I'll let you know well ahead of time when we'll be hosting those events. But just wanted to share, open to questions regarding that. The time frame.
The survey, you mailing things out?
We're going to make it online, but we will have paper available. So if folks are not comfortable doing something online or don't have access, that they have an opportunity to pass it out. So we could leave something like with Natalie in her office if people wanted to do the paper ballot or paper survey.
Cindy, what's the goal of the assessment? I mean, is there a grant that's related to the assessment, or are you just trying to see what kind of housing needs we have within the county?
The ultimate goal of the study is to understand the needs. So understand the type of housing that we lack.
Okay.
Is it senior? Is it market rate housing for those homes? For families, say at $150,000, is that what we're looking for? But it's going to take a lot of different looks at demographics and all of these focus groups and various things. What are employers hearing? What are your employees looking for? is it, we hear from some employers it's a challenge to hire perhaps in that middle to senior management level because of some of the housing. They can't find things that suit them well to consider a move here. So we have that. We have, some of the affordable housing projects going on right now. We don't know if we've done enough. Do we need more? We also want to look at the infill within the community. So we're not trying to say, hey, we want to take 100 acres of farmland and build a subdivision. We want to take a look at what's the smart way to achieve what we need.
Oh, okay.
But at the end, we're going to do a housing summit. So it's a 6-month project. We're expecting in March of 2022 to have our housing summit. That is when we're going to have state agencies that may offer grants or other project assistance to be a part of that summit and to understand where, what we're looking at in Parke County and what our needs are, and to be prepared and maybe offer recommendations for us.
Okay. I'm down to volunteer the town of Rosedale building for whatever.
This building?
I like housing, yeah.
You do?
I do like housing.
So I was kind of looking at her way when I said people that have provided leadership roles in housing.
I do like housing.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. So it's also looking at, is it rental, is it ownership, kind of
Right.
looking at all of the facets there. And with Purdue, they just have a depth of data to go through and help us really be smart about these decisions. So,
Yeah.
So that's the first one. So, you've probably seen we're working a lot on broadband. So now it's housing. And then following really close to housing, we'd like to also do a needs assessment for childcare for Parke County. We know that is a challenge. We've just recently had a provider close 2 locations, and it's getting harder and harder for working families to find childcare. So we just started the conversation early with a company that has done a lot of childcare research, kind of on a countywide basis, called Transform Consulting. They're working on their proposal. I'm in the background putting together hopefully the financial assistance to make that happen. We've got an employer, we're talking to Community Foundation, and we're kind of seeing where we pan out and if we'll be looking for more assistance. But at the end of that, again, we want, or their recommendation is to do a strategic plan and then follow with the needs assessment to really understand first where we want to go and then what are our needs. And we expect that to also be about a 6-month process, perhaps starting early next year and then having something together hopefully by the end of summer. So I don't have all the details based on their proposal yet on all of the needs as a part of the process. I'm sure I'll be letting you know if we're going to do focus groups. I know there definitely will be community surveys and opportunity for input, and again working through schools and employers to really get to the parent level to understand the challenges and where they need help. And that may result at the end, again, there are other programs out there for grants and so forth, and see what it is where it points us. So I just wanted to share those 2 initiatives. I don't like to be working in a silo in just my office, but just come and share the big projects so that you're aware. And I welcome your feedback, your input. I think most of you have my contact information. If not, Natalie surely does. And,
Yep.
be happy to answer any further questions related to that.
All right. Well, that's very interesting. Thank you, Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy.
Anybody over there got any public comment they want to make at this point? Okay, we'll go to old business. Anybody have old business they want to continue to pursue? None of this is old.
No, that's old. That's all kind of new. I got can talk about community crossings. We talked about that as new business last month.
Okay,
We want to talk about that?
sure. Why not?
Okay, community crossings. I talked to Brian Fleck, and he says we need to update our PAMP. They changed the PAMP thing. It used to be you updated your pavement asset management plan every 5 years. Now, pretty much, you almost have to update it every year. We did not update last year because we knew we weren't going to apply. We didn't update in 2019, I guess, because we knew we weren't going to apply in 2020 because we'd spent so much. So we do need to update. He said that would cost us about $5,000 to $5,500. He said if he can tie it into some other communities, he might be able to get away with a little bit less. He also said something we need to consider is he said something that's happening now on community crossings applications is some communities are being kicked out because they're not ADA and I don't know, is it Title VI compliant like they need to be. So I reached out to a guy that does that compliancy and I sent him an email after Brian emailed me, and I talked to Brian and he hasn't emailed me back to see. He said you just check and see if you're compliant, and then if you're not compliant, you just get compliant. We have an ADA compliant ordinance, and we have a plan that we did, but that's been, I did that plan on the council with Josh, Janie. Well, it's been a long time ago. So I don't know if that needs to be updated. So I
5
emailed,
or 6 years ago.
yeah, I emailed this guy, Will Gay is his name, with Title VI compliance, and he hasn't emailed me back yet. So I will touch base with him. But in the meantime, Brian Fleck just wants to know if we want to go forward. If we want to apply next year, we really need to update our PAMP for this year. So $5,000 to $5,500. We haven't really spent much MVH this year. I think we can weasel it out of there if you guys want to go forward.
Still get it out.
Yeah, he seemed to think we could get it out this year, and then we can decide if we want to wait and apply like they still do the 2 rounds, the January and the June. If we want to wait till June so we have a better idea where we're at financially, that's fine too. Because we could still sneak that in like we did. Because the last time we applied in that second cycle.
Yeah.
So.
And the work was done the next year.
Yeah. So.
What do you think, folks? It's an important thing. The pavement asset management program. I remember what PAMP was.
It is. In some towns, like I know Ken, when he was on the board, he went to one of those classes at Purdue. I think Tony went with him, and some of those towns have like embraced that and they do their own PAMP. But we don't really have anything, how do you rate your pavement?
Well, subdivision and Park Street are rate pretty low.
Well, we talked about last time is, if we can match, if we can put 20 to 25 up, that's, that's a pretty hefty at the 75-25 match. We could get a lot of those smaller streets probably complete. Because our main streets are in pretty good shape now.
So we would need a motion to contract
HWC to do
a PAMP update.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to contract HWC, do a PAMP update.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded to contract HWC to update the PAMP. Question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
We do want to make sure that they. That's just assessing the payment, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. That's just the payment assessment.
Okay.
Get that updated with the LPA account or whatever and online, and then we wouldn't apply till next year. So before that time, we can go through our list. We can go
use
through
the PAMP to decide what
use
needs
the
to be
PAMP
done.
to decide. Yeah.
we all know what needs to be done, but we have to have the.
Well, what I was going
Thanks.
to say is we want to make sure if HWC engineers it or whatever, that they don't cause people to have pools in their back
Well,
lots. and
Right. I guess that goes to the stormwater project, so. But, okay. I'll call him tomorrow. So that's old business.
Okay.
We could engineer some of the
The town property that we would like,
Mm-hmm.
Scott Craig I talked to him this afternoon, and he had been doing a little bit of research on all that, and he is going to order title work on that. He needs to clear up a few things, so that's where we're at on that.
That's on the East Street.
Yeah, that's the Millings area. Yep. So.
All right. Do we need to talk about the stormwater thing now?
We can talk about that whenever you want. Or do you want to make it new business and talk about
Yeah, let's do
let's
it.
do that.
New business.
Yeah, let's do that. This will be new business too for me.
Okay. Other old business?
We did our new street superintendent Jace is here. He's been working for the last couple weeks. He's been having a ball.
Digging lots of graves.
He has been.
Keep him busy at that cemetery.
Yeah. Had a crash course in cemetery work first week.
He's a pro now. You should have seen his sod roll.
Rolled it right up, huh?
He was pretty proud of that. Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that there was enough grass there to do it with. All right. No other old business. We'll move to new. Okay, under new business. Which one you want to do here?
Good. Let me talk about this. So I know I sent you guys an email, and I told you that we're now required to capitalize our assets. I think the towns were always supposed to capitalize your assets and everything, but I don't know. Now the State Board of Accounts is serious about it, and they want to make sure everybody's doing this and make sure everybody's depreciating everything, so we really know what we're worth.
And the insurance value don't.
When the
work.
insurance value does not count. And no, this does not have any tax base. There's no reasoning for it. It's just they want to know what you're worth. So, I don't feel like I have the capacity, or maybe you guys feel like you do, to go around and say, okay, the Middle Street's worth $5,000, because that's what it comes down to. So I did find a consultant that does this kind of work. His name's Larry Tippin. He is retired State Board of Accounts. He lives in Rosedale, I believe, and he says he can do this for about $3,000 to $5,000. He said if he has to come here a lot, he said that's when it gets more expensive. But he said if I'll do some of the legwork for him at the courthouse and everything, that we can get it done a little bit cheaper. But if he will give us good starting values, then I can depreciate it based upon our capital. We have a capital asset policy, but it's just the starting values. There's a $6 million figure located in Gateway Online that Adrian was using, but I can find no basis for that number. There's a ledger in the safe that has some numbers in it. There's no description. I can't find anything.
You can't just start plucking.
I mean,
numbers out of
just
there?
start picking things. But I met with this Larry, nice guy. He's been doing this for a lot of towns. They really want you to have some place by the end of the year. He seems to think he can get it done. But he's already sent me. He's already searched like all the town properties. He's already got like spreadsheets created. He's already got some values put together. He said he was just doing some preliminary work, and he said he's like, we actually have to pull some deeds and things to see when they transferred, because this is like a complicated thing, you guys. So he did provide me with it. I believe we can use utility money, he said, for this. So this can come out of water and sewer. We can split it all out versus in different areas, so it doesn't all have to come out of the general fund. So he has provided us with a contract, and if we want to go with this,
Larry, what?
his name's Larry Tippin, Tippin. He's a CPA and interesting fella. But he said it would not exceed $5,000, but $75 an hour is his rate. So, yeah, he thought we could get it done. Like I said, he's already done some preliminary work and sent it over. Like, we acquired this building, like he has that on here and some things like that. So he's done some stuff pretty quickly. So I have an agreement if you guys want to go forward with that. If you don't, then someone else has to come up with a new plan.
You need somebody with expertise, I think.
Yeah. And once you, like I said, and this is what Scott and I talked about. I talked to Scott Craig about this too. Once you have the numbers, depreciating the numbers is a simple mathematical solution in a spreadsheet. It's just getting the numbers.
So would there be consequences for the town if that initial value gets overstated or understated?
I don't think
Who's
so.
going to check it?
I don't think they're going to go back and check that. I think they just want to know, the town doesn't even really have a good inventory. We don't even. I know what vehicles we have. I know that, but we don't really realize.
We
all
don't
the
have
property
any
that we
idea what
own.
our buildings that we have are worth
No.
or anything.
What's the wastewater treatment plant worth?
Yeah.
How much money did we just invest in it a few years ago? So.
Well, the water treatment building too.
Mm-hmm.
The pump houses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how much would go into it? I know Natalie mentioned streets, but I mean, do other parts of the utilities and other things figure in there too?
Yeah.
Or-
They do.
Anything.
Yeah.
Like he said,
The town has control over.
He said some people list their street signs when they capitalize their assets. They consider those to be assets. Like things I would never, consider sidewalks to be an asset. And he said all towns do it
maybe.
differently, but I don't know that our sidewalks, maybe our Central Seat sidewalks are an
Yeah,
asset
that's
now.
an asset.
But-
There's no advantage to
So,
getting that number as high as
there's
you can.
really not. That was a question that I asked, and I talked to Scott, our attorney, about that, and he said no, it really, because I thought, and I think you and I had that conversation, John. Does this go into our basis for what we're worth? He said it really doesn't.
So,
It's just something that the state wants you to
They
do
just want to know.
for more busy paperwork.
so there's just a good lobby up there that helps these guys like Larry Tippin make some money.
I don't think that Larry Tippin's out to get rich. I think he feels bad
I'm
for
not.
towns like ours.
I'm not saying that he's out. you know,
Right.
but it's just always just like we have to have a PAMP every year instead of every 5 years.
Oh, I know.
It's just
Well, it's not like a municipality pays taxes.
Right.
So what's the point? And there's
Correct.
a lot of this stuff that the town controls that if you look at the value, it's going to have amortized out. So
I know. I know that when I did the first audit with the State Board of Accounts, when I first started in the office, she asked me for our capital asset ledger. I said, I don't know. I have this ledger. I handed it over. She said, I don't know what these numbers are for. And she said, there's some insurance values clipped in here. You cannot use insurance values to capitalize your assets. So I'm going to give this back to you, Natalie, and we're going to say you don't have a capital asset ledger. Because everything that I had was completely invalid.
is it
So-
for liability purposes or?
I don't know, Bert. I can't answer that.
You know, there has to be a value of some of the things for insurance purposes.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
But as far as doing the streets or things like that, sidewalks, we don't take insurance out on those, but we do on our wastewater plant, our vehicles, our buildings.
A lot of use for disaster plans. If something happens and you don't have it insured, you don't know what the asset actually was valued at.
Yeah.
So that's what they use the assets for. You depreciate them over time, but you have an initial starting point if they'd have to declare an emergency or anything, if an earthquake or whatever.
So it's for
And it
FEMA.
just- pretty much, yeah. It's so they have a starting point too. They're going to dump funds into here, but they don't know what they're going to dump into here. So if they have an asset plan, then they can at least evaluate
But
what
when
you
it-
have.
When it comes to that, it doesn't matter what it was worth before. It's what it's going to take to replace it today.
You'd be surprised at what they'll come up with.
Yeah.
And not only what it's going to take to replace it today, but when you replace something, just like when the town has the sidewalks and the streets redone, now all of a sudden you got to have ADA compliant sidewalk ramps going different places. So it's going to have to be upgraded. So if you value a sidewalk at something and it's 50 years old and not ADA compliant, if it's got to be replaced, you can't put it back the way it was legally.
No.
Right.
But you have a starting point for a value. And every federal agency runs off of a starting point.
Seems like the starting point would be how much a yard of concrete goes for.
No idea.
Well, or what it was whenever it was put in. We don't want to do that.
No, I mean it's just like insuring something for replacement value versus assessed value.
Right.
Yeah. Well, anyone want to make a motion to employ this Larry Tippin for, I'm going to say, not more than $5,000.
Right, that's what he said. He would definitely keep it under that. So,
I'll make a motion to employ Larry Tippin not to exceed $5,000.
thanks, John.
Yep.
I'll second the motion.
I mean, I genuinely hate spending this money, but I'm just at my wit's end. I just can't do this. It's just out of my.
Well, it's something
realm.
that should have been done quite a long time ago and kept updated.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah. So once you have a starting point, then you can keep it updated.
There's been a motion made and seconded to employ Larry Tippin to make a capital asset value plan for the town of Rosedale, not to exceed $5,000 cost. Question? All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. This is the most business we've had in years.
I know. I need you to sign where it says the town.
The town.
You're the town. So.
Like Carol said, in 35 minutes we've already spent $10,000.
We have.
It's just funny.
And we're gonna send some more, maybe.
What's the minutes thing?
Hey John.
Oh, yeah, you did.
John. Along that line, could the EMA director be of any assistance in that?
I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
possible.
I don't know.
Because
That's
Mr.
an
McGlynn-
interesting point, Birch.
I mean, Mr. McGlynn mentioned the fact that a lot of places use it for disaster planning. I mean, if there's something already, I mean, the county's got to have something.
Yeah, they got to have a starting point somewhere, I would imagine.
I'm sure the county has some capitalized
They
assets as
they
well.
probably have a value.
They probably
already.
do.
Where they got it from, who knows?
What if it's
I
something
did that picking out of the air.
if it's something that somebody else will accept and it seems agreeable? I mean,
Yeah, right. No, I don't think anybody came down here and assessed anything. Okay.
Okay, this is all Chrissy Gerald's stuff. Or you can talk about meeting with Eric and all that, and then I met with her. So
Oh, that's right. When was it we met?
we met the week after the September meeting.
The Tuesday after we had our last meeting. So that must have been the 21st.
Yeah.
Natalie and I met with Eric Smith from HWC to have a preliminary talk about a stormwater project for Rosedale. We have some issues in different parts of town with water getting away. Ditches over the years been filled in. Water stands in certain people's yards that at one point there was a way for the water to get away. There's also some places where the water will get away eventually, but not as speedy as it should be because of culverts or driveways being partially collapsed or whatever, being full of debris. But Eric suggested that if we want to do something about it, we should get started on it. And they already have done some preliminary back whenever we did the
Wastewater treatment plant program.
when we
updates.
updated the wastewater plant. They had already done some preliminary stuff on that.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed to think that the income survey that we did back then would still be in effect.
We don't even have to use that anymore.
Oh, you don't?
No. Christy said that
Oh, that's news.
it's like census based now. She said you don't have to do that now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
I didn't like doing that one.
I know,
I
that one
didn't
was
like
a
going
pain.
door to door to do
She
that.
could not believe we went door to door and did that. I said every council member went door to door. So, yeah.
Well, anyhow. And he also suggested that we get a grant writer to help us out with it, and suggested that we contact Christy Gerald, who has done a lot of work in the area. Natalie met with her. You can take over from there.
Okay. Christy Gerald is incredibly energetic. She's a lot of fun. She is pretty interesting lady. Her resume and stuff, I stuck a couple on the table. She's done a lot of grants in the area. She feels like she talked to Eric. She called me within 10 minutes of talking to Eric. She was in my office a couple days later, and she would love to pursue this grant for us. She gets paid when we get the grant. There is an environmental survey that would need to be completed before we can go forward, and that is at a cost of $5,000.
Everything's $5,000.
Everything's $5,000 today. She said that Eric's already got some of the stuff going on for this. We do have to form a stormwater utility, but the way that works is you form that, you set some rates, you enact the ordinance, but the ordinance would not go into effect until you get the grant. So you don't start collecting on your stormwater utility until you know you're going to get that money. So that's part of it. I don't really know what else to say because we were going for an Oprah grant on this.
Did you find out if you have to form a board, stormwater board?
She didn't really say anything about a stormwater board, and neither did the attorney. Just we need to have a stormwater utility.
Most places do.
Yeah. About it. She said we need to enact this drug-free. We don't have a drug-free workplace ordinance. We need to enact that before we start asking for grant money on this. And we can move pretty quickly, she said. So I think you guys would really like her.
She came in here before
Did
before any of these other people were on the board, and I was on the board back then, and talked to us about some things. what it was. It's been so long ago. I don't recall, but she has at one point or another had some dealings with the town of Rosedale.
She and I also discussed, perhaps we want to try to get a DNR grant in the future for a splash pad. So, that's something that Carol and I really like the idea of. So, there's always that too. So, anyway, you guys just have to decide. And oh wait, her $5,000 can come out of the ARP money. That's right. I asked God about that. So her payment for this environmental review contract, which would be paid to her. This would be the starting step in the grant funding. Would be the environmental survey, and that's $5,000, and that can come out of the ARP money that we've already received.
Well, how about that?
So yes, that doesn't have to come out of utility money.
Hallelujah.
So there you go.
That makes it easier to use her.
It does. It does.
I would like to hear a motion to use Christy Gerald to be a grant writer for a stormwater project. Okay, I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
That was Carol.
Mm-hmm.
Then moved and seconded to employ, I guess, Christy Gerald to be a grant writer for our proposed stormwater project. Question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Do we have to do this tonight?
Yeah, we do.
We do?
I'm not reading all that.
Well, I'm not reading it either.
I mean, I can give everyone the gist of it, but I'm not reading all that. I mean, I will if you really want to hear my voice that long.
Well, just give us a synopsis of this, would you?
Okay. This would be General Ordinance 2021-4. This is the drug-free workplace ordinance. This says, whereas the town of Rosedale makes a commitment to provide employees a safe working environment to ensure that employees' equipment and operating practices comply with health and safety standards and to maintain public confidence in the town and its employees. Since the town of Rosedale, Indiana values each employee, the town offers employees assistance in dealing with alcohol and drug abuse problems. And then it just goes on to say that we are a drug-free workplace and none of us are doing drugs on the job or drinking alcohol, that we will report violations of that kind of stuff to your supervisors, and that we would drug test someone if we felt it was necessary, and that's all. That's the gist of it.
So we need a motion to adopt that ordinance.
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2021-4 for a drug-free work zone.
I will second that motion.
That one was easy.
21 dash what? 4?
4, 2021-4.
Been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2021-4, referring to the drug-free work zone.
Yeah.
Question?
Are we gonna get past them drugs?
Maybe if we feel like you need to.
We'll give you time to study.
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering about the test.
You're not a good test taker?
Well, I don't know. Me or Carol could be.
What?
Oh my goodness.
I was going to tell you there's bottles in the bathroom.
All in favor of the motion to adopt the ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Oh my goodness. Hey, we're getting it done, guys. We're doing good.
Not even 8 o'clock yet.
No.
It is dark though.
Very dark.
Got other new business?
I do.
Good, she did.
You know what?
How much is that going to cost?
Nothing. This costs nothing.
A freebie?
This is a question from a resident. So, Cindy White, we know where Cindy White lives, over by the school.
Uh-huh.
She called. She's considering doing a tiny house shed type building on her lot. She would like to know if, okay, so she would want that to have its separate utilities, and she's got a pretty good sized lot there, but I believe it is still all one parcel. So she was wondering if she did that, would she need to, how would she hook on to the utilities? How would we handle that, since it would all be on the same parcel? Because we did enact an ordinance a few years ago that says only one building, one residence on a
Per meter.
parcel could be on a, because we had the whole trailer situation. So she wanted to know how that would be handled. So I didn't really have an answer to her question. She said she wondered if she could. I said, well, you would have to like survey it to split it, I would think.
You know,
She's
those
wanting to
lots,
sell part of it off?
No, she's not wanting to sell part of it off. She's just saying, would she need to do that in order to hook up water and sewer to it? I mean, what would be the, how would she go about that?
She might want to check and see if that's not two parcels.
I looked online, it's not two parcels.
Is not?
Well, it looks like it ought to be two lots.
It is a large lot, for sure. So, yeah.
Because those lots are like lopsided.
They're lopsided?
Well, the one
They're not
where the
perpendicular with
houses
the road,
sit,
or what?
Where the houses sit. You know, the one behind me that used to be Olds.
Mm-hmm.
That line goes clear over almost to Cindy's place.
Let me look back on the GIS again, but I don't think
It goes to the west?
Mm-hmm. And then Cindy's lot goes way over towards what was originally McGranahan's.
Mm-hmm.
I know nobody but John and I know where McGranahan's
Yeah, we don't know anything that you're talking about.
We're ancient.
I looked at it on here and I did not see that it was two parcels. But
Well, anyhow,
you know,
that's a pretty large lot. If that's,
it is a large lot, so there's that. So I don't know. I guess what do you guys think about that?
Well, wouldn't she still have to have it split though to have a separate line
I don't know.
and separate like meters and everything run to it?
I don't know. That's a question. I don't know, Cody.
I would think so, unless it's like considered a business, commercial lot.
Mm-hmm.
She would have to do that with the county.
if there was ever in the future someone would buy that, yes, it would have to be surveyed and split then. What's my aid there?
Now, what happens when somebody builds a garage with a bathroom in it and stuff?
Well,
that wouldn't have its own separate meter. That would still run off of the same meter and gas and everything.
A garage wouldn't be a residence.
So who's going to live there?
Sounds like she wants to turn it into a business.
No, it's for Wendell, guys.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what I was thinking is family member, but still, it's if she's wanting
It's
to
not a
have
business.
a separate.
In-law suit.
Yes.
even at that point, though, if it's an in-law suite, it would still have the same meter and everything. If she's wanting to separate that meter, that's where she's going to have to.
Yeah, so I don't know. I told her I'd see what I could find out.
We went through this not long ago
Yeah.
on the other end of town from this.
We did. Yes. So.
And we at that point determined
I
that
think-
they had to have separate.
I think the intent of that was thinking about things like this in the future. You know what I mean? Part of it.
Yeah.
But,
Well, the cost is going to be considerable for her to get new service.
yeah, I don't. We have a tap fee for water. I think it's $900 now. We upped it during that last cycle. I don't know how do we even do sewer?
It was on a time and material
Is it a time and material for
thing,
sewer?
I believe,
Okay,
which
I'll have to look.
is a whole lot better than a standard amount because you don't want to get hurt.
Okay.
So there's no way to tell her
Okay.
what that would be.
cost. Yeah.
And we'd have to get somebody like UMAC to come and do
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Would UMAC be the ones to do that?
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we want to even attempt to do that.
No, I don't really think Jason Cliff are interested in that. Okay. So, but as far
Sewer
as
line goes on the other side of the street too.
oh, even
It
better.
goes through the schoolyard.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But would she need a different lot then? Is that what we're saying?
A different lot?
Could she do it on her lot and just have two services on one lot?
Each resident we determined has to have its own separate
Mm-hmm.
meter.
Yeah.
So two houses on the same lot would have to have two services.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
that simple.
Okay.
Being residential, right? So. it was-
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's answered.
Well, another note you got there.
I did give you guys the salary ordinance tonight.
Yeah.
I want to say two things about that salary ordinance. You guys need to start considering that because we do only have 2 meetings left in the year. You need to pass that by December. I want to make a recommendation on the salary ordinance. Our part-time help, in section 5, we have a budget amount for that part-time job in our general fund of $3,000, I believe. I think that job should be split similar to like Jace's job or my job or whatnot. I think we need to take some of that out of utilities because that's a lot of times when you use your part-timer is when you have a water issue or you have a septic issue or sewer or something. So I think that needs to be split because we've always taken it all out of general.
Well, it already
Some of
says
it
the
should
funds
come out of cemetery, shouldn't it?
payable
not
from
the
funds appropriate to position.
Okay, well, we've never said what the funds were, and we only have $3,000 budget in the general fund. So, I think we have to determine a percentage, don't we?
Well, if you're only working on streets, it would be general.
Okay.
But if you're working on a water project,
Well,
it
you
would be
can't.
water.
But you can't say that.
Well, I know that, but if by saying the appropriate
I don't know. I just.
funds from the appropriate,
I guess I was thinking 1/3,
Okay.
1/3, 1/3.
Funds appropriate to the position and determined at the time of hire.
yeah, well,
Okay.
It's not exceeding the budgeted amounts from each of those funds.
Okay. So we don't budget water and sewer. So, but my point is that's always come out of the general fund in its entirety. Like the deputy clerk, that one comes out of water, sewer, general, cemetery. Like, I think this one needs to say the same thing. Because if you look at that position, which is in section 2, so it says it's out of all of that. This one doesn't say that.
Well, what about section 3?
Yeah. We do it the same as.
Do it the same as section
We
3.
could do it the same as section 3, which is what, yeah. So that's fine. I just have been paying that, and I keep thinking, and I want to ask you guys about it. So that's where I'm at. But it can come out the same as that one comes out. That's fine.
That looks like an easy fix to me.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Look at your salary ordinance and come back prepared to make some statement on it at the next meeting. Other new business?
I don't have any more new business. I can't do
Anyone
that.
have any new business? Alright, let's go to department reports.
One thing before we do move on.
I'm sorry.
I just want to pass along what I was dealing with a customer talking about Bridgefest last week and how they were coming up through for Bridgefest. And we got to talking about, me living in Rosedale. And they're like, oh, is that small town, the dirty little town with the Dollar General? I was like,
Ouch.
yeah, that's what so it kind of got me thinking maybe there's a way we combat that. I definitely don't like being known as the dirty little town with the Dollar General.
For sure.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what?
I was like,
Some of the bigger
Wow.
dirty towns have Dollar Generals.
I know.
too.
I know. I was just like, the dirty little town with the Dollar General.
Our
on the way to Bridgeton.
Dollar General is new. It's not dirty.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, no, I agree. Our Dollar General is nice. And I was just
Yeah,
like,
it
wow,
is an asset to the town.
people driving through think of us as a dirty little town.
Well,
That was kind of surprising to me.
when you first come in on Main Street, there's a dirty little house there. And then you come into the main thing, and there's a old IGA building that looks pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
So
There are some eyesores. I'll
there
grant
are
that.
some eyesores.
Yeah.
Is there a way we could move forward with a
I think
ordinance to maybe help clean up and combat some of that?
Well, we've already got some of it covered.
we
It
have
just has to be used.
It's just enforcement. That's an issue, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin's really been on the car thing. I don't know where he's at tonight. I haven't talked to him today. I don't know if he worked or what. He was trying to be out a lot during Bridge Festival, so he took some time off from his other job. But he's been in contact with multiple people about their vehicles and getting some of the abandoned vehicles out of here. He didn't do much ever with properties when he was the deputy marshal, so that's kind of new to him. So he'd kind of like to do a vehicle sweep. I believe that John Cook did one in Montezuma, and he just said, this is the ordinance, you got this much time, and we're coming to get vehicles. So Kevin would like to do that too. I think that'd be a good starting point for some of those.
Right.
Okay.
So, and Jace has been writing them down and bringing them in. So,
Well, there are certain properties that probably need to be cleaned up somewhat,
yeah,
especially when they don't live in the damn house that's there.
yes,
They just come and cut the grass once in a while.
sort of cut it.
Sort of cut it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about as you come into town,
Oh,
the first house you see. That Carol's talking about,
yep.
right next door to me, which pisses me off. But
Well, one across.
and I hope
the
that
street,
whoever
hopefully
lives
be
there
sold soon.
and
So,
does that, watches this damn video, and here's what I have to say.
Beautification is a great thing. We've come so far, and to hear something like that, it's like really disappointing.
It is disappointing.
It is disappointing.
That's what I was my
And
first
when
thought.
was the last time they
I
were
feel
through?
like
Yeah.
it's
Did they say
kind
they've
of-
been through recently?
I they were just that was the
Just the
comment. Oh, that's the dirty little town with the Dollar General on the way to
Because I just feel like
I was like,
Well, they don't have to go
So
through here to
much.
get to Bridgeville.
yeah, I was like, well,
Wait a minute. They want to call Rosedale the dirty little town with the Dollar General, but don't want to say anything about Bridgeton?
yeah,
there's
yeah. I was.
Well, you can't see anything in it
Yeah.
any other time.
Oh yeah.
But just during Bridge Festival is the only time somebody sees something, and it's covered up with people. Then
Yeah.
come back whenever it's done. Bridge Festival. Okay, well, thank you, Cody, for that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's
Uplifting.
awesome.
What a downer, Tom.
Sorry, but yeah, I was like, I'm sure everybody would love to hear this.
Yep, well, you sure did. Okay, I got
I did give you a water.
a water report right here.
Oh.
We had 90 penalties generated, no shut-offs.
No, everybody's doing pretty good. I got a couple I'm gonna threaten next week, but not bad. We did our lead testing. Cliff and I collected bottles. I think we do that every like 3 to 5 years or something.
I think it's probably about 3 years, yeah.
We did less, and I think we had to do. Do you have to do radon testing too? We had another expensive test, like they come the same year. It's lead and something else, so we also did that testing. I don't think. Oh, Jace, Cliff, and Gary fixed the leak on Woods Alley.
That was spring for 5 years.
Natural spring.
But now it's a
not-
fixed
it's not
leak.
spring no more. We
It
put
had moss growing on it. The water.
It's finally fixed.
Algae.
easy fix. Chase's first one, he loved it.
It was an easy fix. You mean it could have been done
5 years ago.
2, 3, 4, 5 years ago?
Yeah, it was just a shut off valve was broke. You know, it was like the dust it was just leaked out it.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't fit all that.
Another
Shut off
point
Yep.
of somebody not wanting to do their job.
Right. So that leak is fixed. But everyone in town seems to have a leak right now. How many meters did you guys check?
Bunch.
Like 3 pages worth?
Some of them look like they
I know that one is
Yeah.
being fixed. So.
Yeah.
Flappers are not going down or something. But,
Yeah, I mean, we had so many
everybody turning-
leaks.
Some of them was turning pretty quick. We knocked on their doors.
Yeah,
Some
I
of
sent
them,
notes.
some of them we didn't.
They knocked on doors. Yeah, lots of leaks this month.
Well, we're just trying to save those people money.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because not only are they paying for the water, they're paying for a wastewater part too
Yeah,
that's not being utilized.
yes.
Okay. We got all of our emergency generators under control now.
Well, I mean, everything's working. When we had that last little power surge, I don't know. I went out to the wastewater plant and checked it because I know that somebody wasn't feeling good, Cliff, and Rob was out of town. So I checked, and that one came on, and the water plant came on. So they were both running during that period. We were out for like 45 minutes that day.
This is whenever Duke had their scheduled outage.
I don't know if it was their scheduled
Yeah,
outage or if it was.
one
It was
after
around that. It was
Yeah, it was
somewhere
one
around
after
that.
we believe that.
But yes, I did go out and check them both. They were both running. Our service contract is up with W. Williams. I have not talked to Stan Lesniak again yet. He was supposed to get back with me. I'll check with him again.
Okay.
But they are both working, to my knowledge.
All right.
And our lights out on the thing. Rob's supposed to get us a new light, the little blinking red light to let you know when it's.
On the lift station?
Yeah, he's supposed to be trying to get us a new one.
Okay.
Because normally that's out there when it's like not working. I can see it from my house, but it's not been working for about a month, so he's gonna try to get us a new one.
Does the horn work on it?
What's that?
Does the horn work on it?
The alarm.
I don't know. I've never heard it.
Well, it must not be working then.
Yeah, because you would hear it.
I just,
Becky's heard it before, haven't
if
you?
the,
Rob had
if the
some-
light's on, the horn should be on.
Yeah.
Right. Rob's
Okay.
had some, issues down. He had to go work on a house or something, and was out of town and asked me to keep an eye on it. And it was like there for a while, about a month. It was like every couple of days.
Okay. Hopefully he gets it fixed then.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Isn't Rob supposed to have a backup for?
He does.
He does.
He has an operator backup. Yeah.
But that's just to operate the plant.
I'm closer.
That's
than
not
he
any
is,
physical.
So Rob just asked me to help him out with that.
Yeah.
I can be there in 2 minutes. The other guy takes him a little bit longer.
Yeah. That's just an emergency situation.
Okay.
Any other issues with the water?
Yeah. None of us have a key to fit that door.
Jace does.
Mine didn't work.
No, yours is
didn't
over
work
there.
either, no.
Yours doesn't work either. Yours works, Jace.
I believe.
Okay,
I
well,
need to go
tomorrow
down
you're gonna
tomorrow
find out.
and find out.
Because Cliff and I checked about 50 keys when
So
you guys
far,
were
I
pulling
haven't
water
had
for that
issues
fire.
with anything.
Yeah, that wasn't us. That was Otter Creek.
I know,
don't
but
where
we
they
were
got
trying to
the-
get in because Jace wasn't feeling good. So I was like, I'll just run out there. I'm going home anyway, and I don't have a key. Cliff tried to get your keys. We didn't have a key. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not real sure why they weren't utilizing the pump house like the other 2 departments, but
yeah.
Did somebody tell them to use that up there?
not to my knowledge, no.
So they just think they can come in and do it?
Apparently they can. They did.
Well,
Well,
somebody should have been notified that they was doing that.
it just shed light to the situation that we need a new key.
And I guess I don't understand why wouldn't those switches be on automatic all the time in case something happened.
Well, he said they should run. He said they should run at a certain level. It's just going in and making sure and just checking it.
Just check
But
I don't
just to
know.
check the pressure and all that. But
They,
you know.
yeah, it would. They come on,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're drawing more than you can put in, it drops the level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was what we were trying to figure out. So.
Okay. Street department. Got anything on streets?
I would
Tree
say.
down yesterday in the or the day before yesterday in the road.
Oh, the tree. Yeah, they cleaned up a tree yesterday. I told Jace tonight he should come. He's cleaned out the shop over there. I don't know if there's anything left in the shop over there.
It doesn't look very good right now, but I know what I'm trying to accomplish out there. So
You're
He's-
using the system,
You can see the debt, and you can see
some sort of order.
you can see what I have done to an extent, but there is a lot of stuff thrown around because I'm trying to find a home for it, and that way it's not just stacked on a desk or a bench or. I also have a list of stuff. that
He needs.
I
He
can
feels like he
utilize.
needs some things. Yeah.
Okay.
You want the list or?
Well, it depends on how much it is. You can just go get it.
$5,000.
Magic number.
Somewhere between $3,500 and $5,000.
Not to exceed.
Typical expense, right?
Like an automotive jack would help for, sharpening more blades because I don't have a way to get under it. An impact, there isn't one. Grinding wheels, cut off wheels.
Impact,
Like an
electric impact wrench,
No, a pneumatic air.
an air one.
Yep.
Do we have an air? Do we have an air compressor?
Yeah.
There's a nice air compressor.
Okay.
And there's an air chuck and a half of an air wand.
Half of one.
Half of one. The seat and the driver's seat in the truck, the town truck, it's down to solid steel.
It
There's no
sucks.
padding left in it. So that's something that could be cheaply replaced through Mecca.
Not to ever pay them to work on.
Generator, the generator that is out there, I've been told
It's not
runs,
that
but
good.
it
The last time we used that generator, I went home and got mine because it worked better than the one out there. I don't know if it could. It looks like it come over on the Mayflower. I don't know how old it is, but it
That'd
wouldn't
be
keep
old.
up- It wouldn't keep up with the pump that we have to pump water, so I went and got mine. It was when we fixed the one on top of the hill there last winter was late or first of the year. Might have been the first of the year, man. We went up there and done it.
so
It
shelving,
won't pump.
shelving would be nice because there's stuff everywhere and there's not a home for it. I've been putting stuff that isn't used often in other buildings and mason drill bits. It's a lot of odd ends I've noticed that aren't out there. That's all I got.
Does that little water heater by the sink, does it work still or not? Because when I go over there to get hot water,
I've never even tried the hot water in.
It's not worked for a little while. I don't know if it's a fuse. I'm not even sure what a fuse box is.
yeah.
I'm not sure. It didn't get no hot water last
I know
few times
I got hot water in it 6 or
Right.
so months ago, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about there. That little one
But
sets
I mean,
underneath
when
it,
I
don't
looked
know.
at it,
most
the
of the stuff you can
plug-in
just go
was
get
like
just to
you
feed
plug
your
it in,
things.
and then it goes up over the thing.
No, that's all the wiring over there. If you
I
check,
think
there's
it's
all
up
kinds
to
of extension cords.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of
Time.
extension
And
cords
I thought
running out there.
that
I know
might be
if I
the
had-
You can
problem.
just go pick up a little
Got
bit
what
at
I
a time.
needed off the list, I would definitely exceed.
That's probably something we
250.
need to look into too.
Yeah, but if you bit and piece it together over a little
over
bit of time.
but
Yeah.
some of the stuff would be handy.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, get your
So what-
necessities.
Can you prioritize, Jace?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, why don't you do that for now
Mhm.
and get prices on all the rest of the stuff too, and come back.
Okay.
I mean, if you need that auto jack right away,
Like the jack and the impact would be nice, which mowing season is
about
almost
done.
over. So that wouldn't be, but the impact would be. I could use that for a lot of things,
Right,
other
right.
than just the lawn care.
Okay, just do that. Anything else on the street?
Really haven't had time to work on the streets much.
No, they have not.
Okay, let's go to park. Park department.
I think the only thing in the park department
You
we've
need-
got is the merry-go-round.
Need to paint
Needs
that.
paint.
Still need paint on that.
Yeah. Well, since all we do is dig out the cemetery.
Anybody needs any community service hours?
Yeah, we have
Gotta
someone
keep-
coming in
Yeah, we got
tomorrow.
plans coming tomorrow.
There you go.
You do?
We do.
I think that-
He's gonna pull some weeds.
At what extent can I use him? Like, can he climb a ladder or anything like that, or does he need to keep 2 feet on the ground? And
It would probably be better to keep both feet on the ground.
I thought so. I just
Yeah.
didn't want to try and exceed. And get
I think it
trouble.
would be probably, yeah. Now, we did have, Cliff and I had a community service worker, and we did make him weed eat. We use a weed eater. So,
You could do
He's
that.
still on the ground.
yeah.
We
So-
keep them
It's
people
still
on
both feet
ground.
on the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Well, I was thinking while he's doing that, the gutters at the park are about to fall off because they're so full.
yeah.
So I'm gonna take care of that tomorrow.
Okay.
Little things.
Yeah, just in time for more leaves to get in it, right?
I would do it twice.
Good answer.
Okay. Fire department.
Kevin did not give me anything,
No report.
so we have no reports.
Cemetery. This ought to be
Wait a
good.
minute. But there is a breakfast Sunday.
Yeah.
That's not a
Yeah, breakfast Sunday.
Okay.
Should be normal.
Okay.
Come see us. Take out available if you want it.
A dine-in breakfast. Cemetery.
Okay, we have 1 cremation, 1 burial, 7 plots were sold, and 1 veteran stone set.
All right. So a lot of it's going to be
October.
next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cliff did mention he thought the garage roof needed repair.
It might need a roof before long. I'm not saying it needs it tomorrow, but it's getting pretty
You can see
ragged.
that the trusses are starting to.
The shingles are starting
Sag.
to pop up, so.
talking about a total.
$5,000.
$5,000.
It'd be more than $5,000.
Okay.
But
And
yeah,
I saw
the
some
garage
steel
does
beams
need
on
some
sale
work.
on
The outside,
Facebook.
the inside still looks new, but the outside of it could use some little work. New shed, it still looks good.
Well, I hope so. Because the key word was the new shed.
Yeah.
Under cemetery, do you guys, okay, in case that everybody's unaware, when we did a burial last week, Carol, myself, Jace, and Cliff all discovered that someone was buried in the wrong place in 2017. It's a little unclear how that possibly happened because all of the documentation said that this person was supposed to go in grave 4 and they were put in grave 3. We needed grave 3 for a burial last week. So we had to move her. There was some other family plots to be used. The family has asked what we are going to do for them since their plot was taken up by the wrong person. Carol pulled the original deed, and we do know how much they paid for the plot originally. I did talk to Scott Craig about this. He did tell me today that there is some state statute. Obviously, this is not the first time this bridge has been crossed.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was going to look that up and see. He said not to do anything until he had that statute in hand or whatnot. I guess making everyone aware of it is important.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think they were pretty understanding.
Yeah.
Well, it would be traumatic at first, no doubt.
Right.
But mistakes do happen.
Yes. So that.
And there are ways to remedy it if necessary.
Right.
There's about 32 inches we could have got them in there that had been tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe not that.
Maybe you need to speak whenever you're spoken to.
Yeah.
Put them on it.
So there's that.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Police department have a report?
I didn't get anything.
No report. Somebody is shirking.
Sounds like we have a marshal and a fire chief missing in action.
Yeah, it does, don't it? Okay,
And they're
we don't
one
have
and
any
the same.
properties to talk about because we have secured one of those.
We have. I am going to touch base with the guy who bought the Depot Street property and remind him when he needs to have that down. Because he has a deadline on that. He doesn't have the deed. We're still holding the deed until he does that. So I will tell him he has a hard deadline on that. So,
Yeah, good idea.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go to clerk treasurer's report.
Okay, I've already said a lot tonight.
Yes,
so
you have.
I'll keep it short.
Good.
I should have said this during water. We did have a visit today from Matt Kingery from Midwest Meter. He came and he met Jace and Cliff and he ordered them some supplies that they need to keep on hand. And then he came in to talk to me. Our meter software, it's called Connect 3. He said that it's more than 10 years old. It's completely obsolete. There is another software that replaced it that is also obsolete. That's how old it is. So it's still functioning for us. It is still working for us. He said it is time to start thinking about it, which he and I had talked about this last time he was here too, because it is a little glitchy, and I guess I've just been babying it a little bit to try to get it through. He is going to send me a proposal for what it would cost to redo that software. That can also come out of ARP money.
$5,000.
I don't know about $5,000. But he did say that could also be a use for ARP money, that does qualify. There are other towns in a similar
Sweet.
situation. So that's something else we can
Let's
use
find
out.
out how many things we can get out of that.
Right, out of the ARP money. So
How about a roof for the garage?
I don't know about the roof for the garage. But so he did come in and he did text me about that. So, I think that beyond that, I'll turn our budget in. The office will be closed a couple days this week, and we're just gonna hope and the cemetery slows down because it's about to do us in. I think that's it. So, but I mean, we will need to approach that meters software at some point. He did say that there's really interesting stuff they're doing with meters now, but that'll be when we have to actually replace the meters themselves. So, I don't think we, need
We're
to
not
go that
ready to
far
do
yet.
that.
Right.
We're lucky we don't have to go around and lay on the ground
Physically read them.
read
yeah.
them physically.
So,
I mean, 1 or 2 hours to read them as opposed to 2 or 3 days.
He did say today, he did offer a compliment. He said he did not know that Tony was no longer employed with the town. He said this is the first time in his 20-year meter career that a town has been able to read meters when their meter reading guy left without calling him.
Huh.
He said that's the only time he ever knows when personnel leaves. And he said he said you never called. I said I guess I figured it out. So I figured it out. Cliff and I did it. Now Jason and I've done it, so we're good there.
All right, wonderful.
That's all I got.
Okay, we'll do public comments again. Do you have any update on what you said earlier?
About which part?
Oh, I don't know.
About the dirty little town.
Well, I mean, this is not a comment about the dirty little town, but I can say I did have somebody call my office that had an interest in the old IGA building. That they were interested in purchasing. They got a hold of the owner, and they were willing to sell. I think just the folks' idea kind of took a back burner with other things going on family-wise. So
I think I sent her to you.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still going to pursue that or not. But
yeah, I recall having her come in. Yeah, I try to connect people. So
I know when we had a meeting before, we talked about housing there in that spot.
Yeah,
I've thought since then that would be an excellent plot. If we could put housing like a 2-story building there, housing on top, retail on the bottom.
That'd be a nice part.
I think that would be.
yeah.
great.
Those mixed-use buildings are nice. I know with the development we're working with New Hope Services, the one that's going in Rockville. We had them look at some downtown buildings prior to that location, and they also did a development like that in Brazil, the old Davis building, and did retail at the bottom and senior at the upper levels. That retail is getting really tricky to fill, and so it's kind of deterring those types of developers to do those mixed use, which are nice, but they can't seem to keep tenants there long term enough. And keep it filled as a constant flow for income. But yeah, I mean, and I know, I'm pretty sure that Community Action Program, Justin Taggart came and talked to you guys just about their kind of what they do. We had a really interesting thing happen on a parcel in Marshall that Freddie Mac foreclosed on it, the mortgage company Freddie Mac, and they decided like it wasn't worth their time to try to sell it, so they were gifting it to a nonprofit. So we got a hold of Community Action, and if they're willing to accept ownership of that parcel, then it's something they may be able to develop. The challenge of Marshall, as you guys know, prior to sewer, was the difficulty of putting septic on small lots and how much you can actually build in. So, you know, if that would have happened in Rosedale, you already have that utility in place, and that's something that they can move forward. But with this housing study, so at the end of it, when we get it and we have our summit, that is something that, you know, it will be available to you as a town, as an individual, to disseminate that information out. And my plan is to any developer I've ever talked to make sure it gets in their hands, so that they can start looking at our communities and have that data behind it to tell them that yes, it would make sense to put a 2-story rental apartment at this range
or even
in
just
the town of Rosedale.
The Main Street area be storefront, but you know. maybe even childcare.
I know that was. It's been a while to figure out how to approach the childcare conversation, and until we found a consultant, we really didn't.
Well, the thing
know
about
how to
child
approach
care
it.
is, years ago there wasn't any rules and regulations. Today, there are bukus of them, so it becomes very difficult.
Yeah.
We don't have a. I mean, I guess Jace, your kids are younger than mine, but I don't think we even have a daycare in town.
I don't think there was one in Rosedale. There's not one in Montezuma.
One
That's
place, one was
registered
shut
with the
down.
state anyway.
Yeah.
There's one, and the only one I know still in Rockville is ones my kids go to.
Yeah, there were like 4 in
Tories.
Rockville.
White's, I think she
She
had
closed.
2 now.
She just
That was the
closed.
two you talked about.
Yeah, she closed both of her locations. And there's like 3 in Bloomingdale.
Yes. Yeah. Marion Martin's out there. Yeah, there's several out there.
Bloomingdale has 3.
They do
Yeah,
have 3.
they have 3. It's like really, but
We've never had an actual child care center in Parke County.
right.
Because I considered that when I owned the Blue Building. We did talk about that. And I met with the state on that and the inspectors. It was kind of an interesting journey, but that's a ridiculous amount of.
Paperwork.
It's crazy what you have to do to
Why
get a child
got
care
out of
center.
it. Regulation.
No, that's not all.
That's
But,
not it, but yeah. But you could do the home-based daycares.
Yeah.
There's a lady that's been really wanting to put a daycare in Rosedale for a long time.
Yeah, I think DeLong.
Yes.
Yeah, I met with her, but we met with manager there at Chances and Services for Youth out of Terre Haute, out of that organization, and they're kind of that point into the regulations and helping you with the paperwork and knowing what you need to do and helping you with certifications and all of that. So there's a resource to help with that, and what they suggested may come out of this assessment is that there be kind of like a child care association. And then through the association, sometimes you can get resources to help you with all the paperwork side of things, where you as the provider may not have time to do that because you're taking care of the children or doing those needs. That's ways that other communities have found around that. Is kind of have that administrative personnel resource person.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not gonna be an easy fix, but we've got to get a conversation started somewhere.
Absolutely. We do.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
Did you guys, anybody have another comment? Okay.
The only thing I got, you get your keys back.
I got them on my desk.
Okay.
If they don't work, I don't know where I need them or not.
If that one didn't work, I didn't try the rest of them on anything else.
Oh, okay. Need a motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
I will second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the bills as presented. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Don't forget to sign. Motion carried. Now I would accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn to our next regular meeting. All in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thanks everyone for coming.